This is episode number 474 of WPwatercooler, building custom WordPress blocks because you have to. I'm Jason Tucker. You can find me over at jasontucker.blog.
I'm Say Reed. That's all I got right now, people.
And y'all know who it is. It's your boy Jason Cosper, back at it again on the world's most influential WordPress podcast.
Speaking of those podcasts, you can go find us wherever it is you can find great podcasts. And you can come hang out in the world's most awesome Discord.
It's a popular place. I forgot to say that I am Say Reed, winner of the California Lottery for 2024.
Yes.
Forgot to say that.
Because I bullshitted our way into us being the most influential WordPress podcast. So say absolutely. Future lottery winner, Say Reed.
Every week. And I want y'all to know that I have everyone's got like their lottery plan, right? But like, I was actually just talking about this with Tucker and Cosper about, what does your lottery plan involve, right? Does it involve like creating a more like corporation? Does it involve, like investing? Does it involve like, no, everyone's like, no. I know Nyasha involves hiring BTS to be basically it
Houseboys.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna buy them straight cash. You hire what?
You're gonna buy the management firm that manages them. You're gonna be like,
no, I'm gonna buy them.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna buy the nicest Toyota Corolla possible.
You're gonna do what now?
I'm gonna buy the nicest Toyota Corolla possible.
Hey man, we all got goals now.
Cars are
I didn't
so
know this
far
is a resolution episode.
Oh my god, yeah, cars are just so far not even in my thing. All right, so all that to be said, who would stay in WordPress?
Oh,
Anyways,
I am WordPress adjacent at this point.
You're WordPress adjacent?
I am an adjacent of WordPress. Yes,
I'm WordPress adjacent too. All right, so this is.
I guess I am technically too, right?
Yeah, you are WordPress adjacent at the moment.
Dang.
Or you're an adjacent to adjacent.
Insofar as that you are adjacent to Jasons, but also, I mean, I think you're not WordPress adjacent right now. You are full in because you are currently one of the team reps for the marketing team, which I am so happy about. That I am not, and that you are, is really what I meant to say there.
Well, I miss you. I'm not happy about that. I'm happy about 50% of that statement, but it's okay.
I mean, I haven't really gone anywhere. Laying low is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, the point here is since we haven't won the lottery, so we are in WordPress. Here we are, and we really do have to build blocks. Like at a certain point, like there's no choice here. Like I mean, I guess there's Classic Press, but that's not WordPress. That's Classic Press. So that's a different choice altogether. So if we're doing this WordPress thing as a software, I'm not even going to talk about the community because it is just I don't want to think about it right now. But the software itself, it's all about the block.
Yeah.
And wait, I got another one. You know who the new kid on the LinkedIn instructor block is? Hey, it's Nye.
Hey.
Yeah, she's the new block. So on that note, tell us about your blocks.
My blocks. So I'll tell you about my blocks
anymore. Your blocks now.
we can talk about my blocks. That's okay. So sometime last year, I got this wonderful opportunity to work for LinkedIn Learning, which honestly has changed my life. I know people say that about a lot of things. I'm like, that didn't change your life. This did. It kept me employed this whole past year. That's a great one, Mika. And they really wanted me to do a block course because in WordPress, we're always talking about blocks, not that type of block. We're talking about, creating stuff with blocks. And what really is it? If you walk up to anybody in the community, can they just tell you off the block of their head? Break down what a block off the block of their head. Can they break it down and tell you what it is, why we have to use it? Like because we have to, but that's what I really wanted to do. Because like when I got into WordPress, I'm sure as you all know, there's never, in my experience, there's never been like a beginner's level for people. You go to these different places and they assume you know certain things you may not know. I said, when I make this course, I wanted to address all the things I had a problem with when looking into building blocks. Why am I using web tools? Why am I making these blocks this way? Is there anything that can help me make it faster? Scaffold tools like the create block tools. And so they gave me this opportunity and I went for it. Took months for me to write everything down, went out, recorded, and so far so good. I've been getting really good feedback on it. Lots of people who were scared to make blocks themselves or like even dive into it, they like the intro, even if they've been in WordPress forever. Blocks are not that, old.
Well, we don't really always, and this is something we've talked about, like what's in a name when talking about like renaming patterns and, what are those called? Reusable blocks, but now they're patterns. And, we have a naming problem here in WordPress.
Yes.
And an explaining problem because we do just move in to start using things without clarity or definition about what those things are. And that's from a development perspective. Like it just starts in, even with Gutenberg, right? Like now there's a whole thing about like, no, Gutenberg was the name for the development and now it's the block editor. Like we've, it's hard to just even keep up with what things are called and what that means. I know during your course, you were like, wait, what was it for? Was that the reusable block that was changing during your course? Yeah.
Two things. So I was in the middle of the booth. I called Say and Say didn't answer. So I was messaging her. I'm like recording. I'm like, Say, the editor. What do I call it now? I'm like, people say Gutenberg editor. People say WordPress editors. Some people say the editor. I'm like, well, I'm using VS Code. I don't want to call it the editor. And Say was like, well, you call it this. And I was like, what about this? And she was like, well, you do this. We were like, And if it's that confusing for us and we use this product almost every day, like, how do we get newbies in? That's what I always have on the top of my mind. How do we get new people into this? We're complaining that people don't want to jump into this technology. What are we doing to make it easier for people?
And you know what? You're taking this from a development perspective and newbies, especially with developers, like bringing new people into the software to, to the building it space. But I think about this a lot too, from the beginner user perspective, mostly from the perspective of small businesses. I actually posted something on Twitter about this the other day. I'm helping a friend with a campaign that they're running. And I'm like, we got to get set up on WordPress, whatever. And they're like, why am I using this? It's very complicated. This isn't making sense to me. Can I just use Squarespace? And like, that's a choice. And once people make that choice, they're kind of like committed to whatever that platform is. So even when we have opportunities like this, where we have, we're like, someone is willing to use it. They're like, yeah, sure. I'll use whatever you recommend. And then they're like, wow, this is just too much, too confusing. I'm going to go away where it's simpler. Like that's a concern. And that is part of kind of systemic. It's on the development side and it's on the user side. And it's, it's on the community side too. Like contributors being like, how do I contribute?
Yeah, I don't know if any of the rest of y'all got to look at the video that Jamie Marsland did this week, where he recreated the Notion homepage in what was effectively the Canva builder, and he does this a lot with like the block editor and then
like a rebuild experiment thing.
Yeah, so like he rebuilt TechCrunch using just the block editor. He rebuilt a few other, but he was like, the Canva editor, it has a grid, it has like all of these different layout tools, and he was just breezing through it. And he's like, he has kind of been on this path lately over the past few weeks, talking about like, I wish Gutenberg was more like Canva. And
So
Tucker, I
instead of
know
like
you
Figma,
make
we're going in the
yeah,
wrong direction because Figma is more like the direction that all the WordPress developers are obsessed with, basically, and
right.
and the designers, which is heavily leading the development. And then Canva is
Yeah,
where
but
everybody is.
yeah, it's user friendly. It's I
So
mean,
user
Tucker,
friendly.
you create the graphics for this podcast in Canva, right? Like our intro and
Yeah.
outro videos, all this
Yeah.
other stuff. It's
It's
easy
just
to
real
use.
quick.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even
I
have
started
Photoshop.
designing sites in Canva.
I could
You
do it on
don't?
my phone.
I still have Photoshop. I need Photoshop for my memes.
I wasn't using it, and I was like, wow, okay. I didn't, I don't, the graphic work that I do, the resizing and all that stuff, a lot of it I can just do in preview, and then the rest of the stuff, I can do in Canva. I did
Right.
make my daughter's 4-year-old birthday invitation using Chat GPT in Canva, so that was
Nice.
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 it was a dolly, so it was a really gorgeous gorgeous unicorn picture. Anyway.
It's really been interesting to kind of watch like, hey, Gutenberg is where things like, kind of need to be moving for WordPress, but everybody keeps making some new page builder. Like it seems
Odd.
like every other week there's now there's bricks, now there's whatever the hell, like just new ones like just springing out of the woodwork. And now it's like, and we're also Gutenberg compatible, or
Right.
full
So what does
site
that
editor.
mean? Like, is that like, so with
No one
Brit?
knows what it means.
Yeah, no
I
one
mean,
knows.
Sometimes it just means it coexists.
It's provocative.
You
It gets the
know?
people going.
Yeah.
I almost couldn't
No,
say
it's not. It's
the word.
gross.
Wait,
Yeah.
so in terms
Um,
of your course, when you were doing
Mhm.
it, obviously this is something that happens a lot. Like you're doing the course, and things are changing in the development
Mhm.
while you're doing the course, like the blocks. So does your approach, do you think that it's like you'll have to redo it, or is it like, are you more like, because you were talking about like the why are you building blocks, which by the way really speaks to me, because if I know the why of
There's
why
plenty of
I am doing
reasons.
something, it like makes everything better. I'm not like waiting for the answer at the end. So
Mhm.
is that more like, is it more like an introduction in that terms, or is it more like a technical, here's how to do it step by step?
It's a little of both because I'm the same way. If I don't know why I have to do something, it's hard for me to want to learn it and it's hard for me to want to use it. And you bring up a really good point about the client aspect. At my last job on my first day, I hadn't even set up my computer yet, and they were like, "Can you explain to a client why they should let us rebuild their site in WordPress?" And I was like, "Today?" And they were like, "Yeah, you work in the community, you're doing a course, like why not?" So I talked to her, and some of the concerns you brought up was the same thing she did. She's like, "I don't want to use this. Everything is too many options out here. How am I going to use this? How am I going to teach my staff?" And I'm like, "Well, guess what's coming? Full site editor. You could do everything with this. We don't need all this extra stuff. We don't need Divi. We don't need all these millions of plugins. If I sit down and I show you how easy
It
I
is
can
not
do
the
this, which
problem.
I did."
Sorry.
Okay, it's all right. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But I'm like, if I can sit down and show you this, would you like to stay with it? She was like, sure. So I just went through the editor with her, showing her how easier things are if she just did everything in the editor, nothing extra. And that client said, "I love how you explain this." She said, "I'm going to take your course." And then like I laughed. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm not at that job anymore. That client took my course and wrote me a week ago. And she was like, did not forget. I took your course." She was like,
Oh,
"Thank you." And I do
Wow.
have them rebuilding my site in WordPress. And I'm like, they should be thanking me, but it's okay.
she should
But
be
no,
hiring you directly. I was like, we should get that.
right.
Be like, so how about I just build it for you instead?
Like, but
We gotta
with
get on
my
that
course,
email.
yeah, I'm gonna do it. But to answer your question, like it's stuff I'll have to update because reusable blocks did change to patterns after I wrote the course, but before I recorded it. But the good thing about it is I was so in general with my knowledge and I covered so many different things. I don't have to redo the course. I can just make like hey, here's an update video. And I think when we teach stuff like that, it's better because that knowledge gets to stay around longer. It's not, which video do I have to building blocks volume 2. I have to go to that one.
Right,
No, go to my
exactly.
original one, get that foundational knowledge, and then if there are any updates, I have that for you as well.
That's awesome, because I think that's part of the, I stepped out of, I call it like a stream, right? It's like the knowledge stream of tech. And it is like a river. It is always, it's not really a stream, it's a river. It's always very flowing, right? Like it's like the Mississippi. It is a big river. And it's moving constantly. And I stepped out of it to have my kid, right? And stepping back in is like, wait, where do you get back in? It's like so many things have changed. It's not even the same conversation. So, and then you do have to go find those things that are like the more basic stuff, but that stuff's out of date. So I think it's really, that's part of our issue. I think right now in WordPress is that everything is changing so fast that the resources can't really even keep up. Like if the developers can't keep up, and the hosts are scrambling to keep up, and all the plugin ecosystem and stuff, themes are struggling to keep up, like the users and the people who are building sites out there, like myself, for other people, like it's always been hard to keep up with WordPress, but now it's like things are changing sort of, not sort of, but really fundamentally, right? Like this is a really, especially with the development of blocks, like it's been very hybrid, like the ACF blocks, right? You can like kind of go in between, but now things are changing so quickly and so many functionalities are being added to core. It's like now you have to get rid of those training wheels for the blocks and just like dive right in, because otherwise you're going to have all this middleman stuff that ends up costing a lot of money and bulking out the site essentially, with a million different UIs. And then you have like, some custom blocks built in the main thing and some ACF blocks and some theme blocks. And I don't even know how you then manage your blocks. Like what, is there a block manager?
Yeah, I'm this is where I announce that I'm building a block manager. I'm calling it X to the Z. It says, yo dog, I heard you like blocks. No, I'm not doing any of that. I just really wanted to make an exhibit joke.
Can I do this? I went to an exhibit show once. I felt really cool. It was like,
yeah,
you muted Jason, I think, or somehow.
Sorry.
It's like, you're talking about exhibit, I'm chiming in.
Yeah, I said poor exhibit, man. The guy was a rapper, and then he ended up being on TV once, and now that's all we talk about is him being on the TV show.
My ride, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're all talking about. I don't know what happened.
There's this thing called TV that a lot of people watch, and so
Say watches all of her shows on her laptop, and
it's like Netflix, but they just played whatever they wanted.
I watch any shows that I watch on my phone, hiding away from my.
Could we circle in a little bit on the because you have to part of our fancy title?
Yes.
So the because you have to, I think a lot of it comes from the fact that we're all early adopters to the technology, and so there weren't tools that were built yet for this stuff. I mean, they're all trying to come up with like their version of these other page builders and stuff, and trying to dump those types of technologies into, the WordPress editor, Gutenberg, whatever it is we're calling it this week. But like the thing about that is technology is great when you have these developers that come up with like these really fancy names for like their test setups and the way that they're going to be developing things and whatnot, and those names get stuck, and then you end up with all these early adopters that are calling it Gutenberg, and now it's all in their texts, it's all in the descriptions of their plugins, it's all in their everything. So the because you have to part is, I think, because the fact that we were such early adopters to this, that we were expecting stuff to show up. Like I love ACF. I use ACF for a bunch of things, and I really wish like the editor had ACF functionality built into it, being able to pull in those values and stuff that I wanted to use and work with. And it doesn't have it. You have to build blocks to do it. So the because you have to part is literally that. You know, I do things a certain way and I want to use this new thing, and I need to build this block now because I have to.
It's almost like we need a Fields API, Jason.
Wait, isn't
you know, I think we had it. We
query
didn't
block
at one point we had
expanding?
a guy on that talked about that, huh?
I mean, the Fields API is like the fact that we don't value custom fields when all of that is everything for everybody.
Everything's a
across
custom
the
field.
Internet, since they were invented, they've been the main thing. Unlike post formats. Sorry.
Too soon. Too soon.
I'm team custom fields, he's team post formats, you know. Anyway, I think that we neglect the custom fields, but I do recall, you know, Mika had a comment up here that she remembered some sort of plugin that was maybe telling you what your blocks were from. I have a vague memory that
me too.
Custom post type content is coming to like the blog or the query block. But you know, there's been a lot of going on in WordPress, and I haven't been able to track it all.
What?
An emotional pain.
It's not just a bunch of PHP files.
Yeah, so I just want to get back to the dang PHP files. To be honest, I really do. But I have a vague memory of query blocks or some sort of block being expanded at some point, possibly in 6.5, to include custom post types.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's good. That's a step, right? That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I feel like I remember in the State of the Word that Matthias specifically was showing off.
Is that where it was?
Yeah, some things around
dynamic content.
Dynamic content, pulling in like effectively Fields API without saying Fields API, and I feel like Scott has been pretty busy lately. So it wouldn't surprise me if we start to kind of see that stuff creep in a little bit. This is the thing is, you know, this is all the stuff that we hoped for because we're like power users. And the thing is like, you know, we're kind of, I keep going to this metaphor. We're changing the engine on the plane while it's mid-flight.
Right.
Like doing Gutenberg, doing the block editor, doing whatever we're calling it this week. As Courtney said in our comments, unlearning is hard. Once you call it something, it's hard to quit calling it that thing. You know, you can do it. It is possible, but it's hard. Changing out this engine mid-flight, we're realizing like, oh crap, here are some considerations that we had not made before. You know, Scott, when we had him on to talk about the Fields API, was talking in part, if I recall correctly, and Scott, if you're watching, like, please, you know, jump in the comments or whatever and clear this up if I'm getting this wrong. But like, hey, the Fields API will also benefit having stuff for like the dashboard redesign as we kind of make that a little more flexible and stuff like that. So kind of making the dashboard itself more Gutenberg-y in some ways. Yeah, more
that's actually a question I have. You know, you can customize the admin on the back end. Can you do blocks on the back end of admin right now?
I don't think right now.
Interesting.
Or Nye, do you? Yeah, it felt like you were about to say something there.
I was gonna say no, but yeah. I was gonna say something else. If it comes back, I'll say it.
I wanted to ask you about the dynamic blocks thing, because do you talk about? Because that's basically the reason, right, for making custom blocks. Essentially, I mean, at least for me, like getting custom data into it. Essentially, right? Sorry.
No, like that's if my course does well, my next course will hopefully, I'm not supposed to say this out loud, hopefully be on dynamic blocks. Mine is more of a starter course for it because that's what I needed at the time. But yes, it is. And I've been actually playing around with some stuff this week, trying to make dynamic blocks because I'm making a family tree website. So yeah, most of the power users, most of the power
we got
users,
the
yeah. They do want
No, you
dynamic
could say
blocks.
it.
It's difficult though. It's like if you like, I jumped in trying to make dynamic blocks and I was like, I can't do this. Why is it so hard? I had to go and learn the basics. So it's like if you don't know the basics, you're not going to be able to build a dynamic block.
So
that's why I wanted to start with the course first.
I struggled too with like the again the naming about this, right? So dynamic blocks, excuse me, dynamic blocks as used, as described. I'll link to it in the show notes, but as described by like the WordPress developer perspective, that just means blocks that are rendering with content, right? Like they're not necessarily static, so they would have some sort of dynamic content in it. Is that the same thing as pulling in basically like custom content, custom meta, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it can be. I'm trying to think of a good example. One idea I have for one of my blocks for my family tree website is to be able to pull, of course, can't pull information from ancestry.com, but pull from like a newspaper source. So that would be an example.
Like an external data source, right? Like a feed coming from an external data source. But what about like from your own content, right? So say you have a custom post type with custom fields, right? Like is that
that would also be dynamic. Yeah.
That would be a dynamic block, right? Because that content is dynamic. So is there another word for that, or is it just dynamic blocks?
I'm sure there is. It goes back to WordPress. I'm sure it's 12 terms for it.
Right. I'm sure we've got
earlier.
I'm sure we've got Courtney in the chat, just about to drop whatever it is. The our factotum. Nah, please. I'm sorry. Continue.
One of the reasons why I have a whole section about what do you call the editor is because when I was trying to learn how to do blogs, I would look for an answer for something super specific, but I would go to the place and it would use a different term. And I'm like, is this the right thing? Am I on the right site? And that would happen all the time. So when I wrote the course, one of the people who was reading my scripts, they was like, is this really necessary to go into much detail about how there are different names for everything? Yeah. Yeah. If someone takes this course and they want to build more blocks and they have a question and they need to know, they want to know like all 1,700 terminologies and I missed like 1,800 of them. Well, I got them halfway there. So
yeah,
I think maybe we should just have like a decision, like maybe we just say like whatever Nye says in her courses, that's our new standard. Like that's what we're going to call it, because I just need like an anchor somewhere. And I mean this in every fashion right now in the WordPress world. I just need an anchor that I can like latch onto. Obviously this show and my Jason's here, my adjacent lifestyle. But I do, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted again by my emotional distress. I also got distracted by the comments because everyone's now everyone's in the comments debating what dynamic blocks mean, and is it a server? Like what does that mean to anybody? Like I'm just
waiting for somebody to say Dreamweaver,
custom post types, and custom fields. Like I do not understand why this is complicated. This seems like the most base, like that is what all of ACF is like all about. So I do not understand why, if we're going for that sort of functionality, that's not like just baked in at the beginning. It makes no sense to me.
Sure.
Same.
So
Same.
Now that we're hitting basically the 30-minute mark, now seems like the good time to ask. Nye, like what are some of the custom WordPress blocks that you have built because you had to?
What do you mean, like some of them? I've had like all of them. I've had to build because I had to. Like,
yeah, like what are some of what are some of your favorite ones?
Oh, my favorite one right now is the one I'm building for my family tree website. I wanted a very like unique profile for when I talk about my family members. So I'm not a designer. I suck at designing. Just let me build it. Tell me what you want and I'll build it. I made a really special one that looks like a photo frame. And then like there in the side, there's a picture of my ancestor. And then there's information about them that kind of flows like you're looking at a newspaper article, but it's in a picture frame. So it's like my ancestor was so important. They got this like little plaque about them. So that's my favorite custom block that I made. And I cannot wait to like show this website, like make it live.
That's adorable. But I also have a question about the graphic part. Is that something that is an actual graphic, or is that something that is CSS? Like, what is the frame made of?
It's a graphic right now, the actual frame. I might have to do it in CSS, but I mean, right now it looks fine. It just depends on if I change the profiles in the future, because it's going to be the first website. I'm going to add everybody, but as this grows, as I want it to, it's called the Family Forest Project. So the goal is to meet people who see their ancestors on here and they're like, I think we're related, and they add themselves and their families, and it keeps growing, it keeps growing, it keeps growing. So eventually it may change to CSS, but it's actually a graphic right now.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm so fascinated by just the whole. I have to take your course too. I'm actually thinking about, in my spare time, actually doing the course and then like live posting something about it at the same time. I think that'd be kind of fun. That's really what I should do to make it interactive for myself. Also, I guess it's just me there talking to you. I'm gonna be like talking to the, trying to talk to the.
And there's that.
You're like texting her. What do you mean by this?
Explain yourself.
And the additional accountability of you're doing it in a public facing way, like you're showing your work. Basically, you're out there like showing that you're doing the thing. And then if you stop doing it, then people will go, hey, what happened to that?
No one will say that. No one follows up, first of all. And second of all, I hate public accountability, as evidenced by what is happening right now. I want to just go hide in a hole.
It's all right. We'll do an episode next week about you started it.
Just don't want to be in public.
You can't let people see you sweat. That's why I build in public. I've been building this site on public all week. And that's another thing that used to tick me off. Can I say that?
Yeah.
It used to tick me off. Like, all these developers act like we never make mistakes. We know all of this. There was no beginners. I woke up and I knew WordPress and everything about it. When you ask them a question, like, okay, I don't. Can you answer this question for me? I was like, I'm going to build in public. These mistakes I've been making, some of the mistakes I've made, people are like, thank you for saying that. I messed this up too. Or thank you for this. Thank you for that. If we can't show our mistakes, like, how are people going to learn? Like, I hate that. It's in tech. It's not just WordPress. I hate that developers' attitude, like I'm untouchable and I'm the god of code. Shut up. Teach people. So, you can't go far unless we go together. Like, teach people, let people see, work with people, build in public. Look at it from that point of view. And anybody else, like, who cares? They can say, oh my God, you built this course and you're messing up. Well, I got paid to mess up. What about you?
Nah, this is why you're the best. Yeah. I'm going to do this. I'm going to set up my new blog inspired by Cosper over here. And then I'm going to build in public some custom blocks inspired by Nye. And then Tucker.
You're going to ditch it and then move her to micro.blog.
Yes. I don't know. I'll automate it with something that'll be in honor of you.
I appreciate that.
Thing. It's good. All right. Well, we're going to, our new thing is we have this thing called the after cooler. Nye, are you familiar with this?
Mm-hmm.
You are? Oh, okay. So we're going to hop into the after cooler. And then last week, it was really exciting. We got some new boosts in our Discord, and now we can play mini golf. So I really want to play some mini golf. It's the whole reason I came on the episode today. And also nice. So we should go play mini golf.
We should go play mini golf.
We should.
Yeah.
Also, if anybody's hiring, I'm looking for part-time or full-time work, because I already work contract work and part-time work, but I need a full-time job. Just want to put that out there. Got to plug myself.
We will put the links in the description below.
Yeah, I'm just here for night too, by the way. I really am here for night and the golf. Okay.
Yeah, links will be in the description below and on the blog post and all those fun things, and we'll make sure that all Nye's stuff's on there. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Talk to y'all later. Here is our outro. Hey, as Cosper said earlier, you can go subscribe to us at the various places that you find podcasts as well as video stuff. So if you want to go find us at wherever it is that you watch videos and wherever it is that you listen to podcasts, feel free to do that. And we'll talk to y'all later. You have a good one. Have a good weekend.